The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, would like to welcome everyone back for another KevCAM night class tonight. It's been a little while since we've done one, and between Greg traveling and myself traveling, doing on-site training and vacations, we're finally get back into the routine here. But with that being said, I have Greg helping out with any questions or topics that come up for you guys, and make sure I'm staying on cue. Greg, you with us?
Good evening, everybody.
All right, so what we are going to be covering tonight, and I do see all the regular or familiar names in there, so I won't go through the boring introduction, but tonight what we're going to be covering is 2D engraving and all the different ways you guys can do 2D engraving. And then next Tuesday night, we'll be covering the 3D portion of it. So these classes might be just a little bit shorter than normal, but I think that's a little bit better than going an hour long and making you guys fall asleep. So, all right. That being said, let's get right into the mix of it. So first thing I want to show you guys is on this particular part here, this would have come from the engineer or the customer with the engraving file on there. And like I said, I want to show you a bunch of different ways to go about engraving. So to find, this one may confuse a little bit of, or some of you, but to get to the engraving tab or the icon, go to the SolidCAM 3D ribbon, and then you'll see engraving there. Or you guys can come over and do add milling and do engraving right there. So wherever it's easy for you guys. So we can turn on engraving. And for this particular one, since it is almost like a bold font that they did a cut extrude on, we can take that into factor. So first thing we'll do here is grab our geometry, and we can kind of come in here and I can click and use the Smart Face technology and grab this geometry this way, or I can go through and do the do the multi-chain. So I'm going to show you this first this way, and then I'll show you another way shortly after this. So we can go ahead and accept that now. And one thing I did forget to mention, if you guys are doing 3D between 2D and 3D, it's going to be right here in the upper left-hand corner for you guys. Now, we'll go ahead and grab, for this one, we're going to use a small little tool. And the reason it's so small is just because my letters, when I did this demo part, I made it a little too small, but it will definitely work. Same as normal. You can see, but since I use the Smart Face technology in there, it recognized my upper level as well as my engraving depth. So we can kind of skip right over to technology. So in here, you guys will have kind of like a profile operation, and I'll show you guys how to do it in profile as well, but you do have some additional options in here with engraving. So for this particular one, I'm gonna do centered, because basically what I wanna do is I wanna fill this entire sketch out, or this entire cut field out right here. So what I can do is I tell it I want it to center my tool, and then I can tell it that I want to fill the area, and then I have an option to do fill it with a hatch, contour, or middle line only. Now I have spindle direction right here. I can choose a step over. So since we're running a pretty small tool here, I'll just do something small here. Maybe I'll just do like 8 thou.
Now, Kevin,
yeah.
On the clockwise and counterclockwise, that was cutting direction, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And then let's turn my phone on silent, sorry everyone. But now I can do one way or zigzag. We can do a semi-finished, which the semi-finish will open up our floor offsets in there. But for this particular one, since we're just doing a light cut, we can take it all in one cut, since we are only going down the 5 thou. So here is how to do kind of a fill. So we'll go ahead and simulate this here. We'll do a solid verify. and get this so it's not so shiny for everyone. And we can play it through. And basically, it is going to do pretty much a pocket operation, but getting all that material from inside there. So that's one way of going about it. Now, you can do this identical operation with a pocket operation, as well as if you wanted to go a little bit further, you could use iMachining also in here. So a couple different options for you to do it, as if you're doing bold lettering that is cut out. Can't think of the words, I need to talk. Okay, so the next way of going about it is what I'd like to call, like if we were doing a part number. So maybe from the engineer, there is no part number on here, and maybe you guys want to put that part number on there. So the quickest way of going about this, all you have to do is just right click and do a sketch. And then I'm gonna come in here and we'll do our SolidCAM. Now you can see that it's typing up here, and this is more or less SolidWorks right here, but I can click and move that around, or I can link it to a specific line if I need it in an exact location. So I could do a sketch line, and then I could link that to that edge curve right there. But for part number, we really don't need to have the fancy bold letters or anything like that. So the one that we at SolidCAM and a lot of customers are using is the DPS Shrift Single. And the reason why is it's a very good single line font that will show up really clear when you're engraving, and will definitely help you out with putting part numbers or tooling numbers or whatever you guys need in there. So I'll grab that DPS Shrift, and let's make this a little bit bigger. Try 1 inch. Oh, that's way too big. And that's way too small. Well, let's find the happy medium here. Okay. So now I can kind of move this around. And like I said, this is a great single line font that works really well, like using a spot drill or actually a specific engraving tool. If you guys are doing a lot of engraving, I would definitely recommend going out and buying a dedicated engraving tool for that. But you guys can use whatever tool you like. We have a lot of customers that are using ball end mills in there that really leave a good finish that way too. But and what I'm gonna do now is just gonna space out my lettering so it's not so packed in there. Now, once we have that sketch in there, one thing to remember is make sure you're fully exited out of the sketch, because right now we currently have that sketch active. And if we go to try to grab that sketch inside SolidCAM, it's not going to see it just because that sketch is still active and going. So I can hop out of there real quick, and you can see my sketch turn from a blue to a gray at this point. And now we can go to our engraving again. Now, we can come in here and grab each individual line, but we'll let the software do the work on this one, and we can go down to the multi-chain. Now, with the multi-chain, it will actually pick up text. So a couple different ways of grabbing your text is come over here and select the text, and once your mouse cursor has the little text icon on there, so you can see I have a little A symbol next to it, that means I can click there and it's going to grab all that text file. So if I just click anywhere in there, you'll see it turns it yellow, and we can hit the green check mark, and we can see all our chains in there. Now, another way of going about it is come in here, do new, and we can go to our multi-chain. And this is if you were to have multiple different texts, but maybe you want this this one right here, maybe a 5 thou, and maybe a different text at different depths. So you can come through and kind of cherry pick what you want. So we can go to text, and I can come down to my sketch and grab it that way. So if I had multiple different sketches in there, I could grab those at the same time also. So a couple different options for you guys. You can see we have our geometry. So now we can go ahead and grab, we'll just do a spot drill for this one. or we can do an engraving tool. Like I said, whatever you guys prefer in there. Like I said, my go-to always was a spot drill because we were doing part numbers on vice jaws and they were always soft jaws. So, but like I said, you guys can use a ball mill, you know, a chamfer mill, whatever you would like. And when I click the new tool here, I thought I turned that off. Everybody likes a little, what do you call that whistle? Is that John Wayne?
Little Western.
Little Western. Can't remember what movie. Yeah, I can't remember what movie that's from, but everybody tells me what movie. But I'm like, no, it's from the Expendables. When, anyways, stop rambling. But okay, so here are the tools that are supported by the engraving operation. So if you have a tool other than this, you can definitely cheat the system and, you know, put a shape tool in there and just call it an end mill. But what if for right now, we'll just do a 1/4 inch spot drill. Now, levels. We got our upper level and our engraving depth. So we'll just do our 5 thou. And technology. Now, obviously, I don't want this on right. I'm going to do it right on center. So we can do a save and calculate now. And we can simulate this. Get this panned over for you. And slow it down a little bit here. And you'll see a nice engraved feature in there for, like I said, your part number or whatnot. Now, kind of stepping back, one area I forgot to mention is with this one, when we're using like a bold or a double line in there, we also have the feature that if we don't want to do the entire fill area, we can just tell it that we want to do a middle line only, and it will throw a middle line sketch going in there, so you don't have to fill out that entire one. Now, depending on the font, it is going to look just a little bit different. Some fonts come out absolutely perfect. This font, you can see like my M is a little bit off there, but you know, you guys will get the gist of that one. As well as if we are doing middle line only, it does open up the option for V carving, and this is kind of set up for more of the guys that are doing wood engravings and stuff like that with letters to do the V carving option that is there. And for show you guys kind of what the V carving looks like. Oh, it's not pulling up for me. Well, let's just go for. I thought they had a picture for the V carving, but maybe not. No. So you can do the V carving, and for those guys that don't know what I'm talking about, well, maybe we'll just Google it real quick.
Well, what do you think about making that extruded cut a little bit deeper and using that option?
Yeah, we definitely could. I'm just worried that text isn't going to be quite perfect for it. I guess you can kind of see right here. It does a little bit different, so it's not a straight. What am I trying to think of here? An angle coming out to be a straight edge coming over in there. Here's another good example of it, but some different options in there for the V carving with the engraving option there. Okay. Now, another way of kind of going about this, and if you guys are more comfortable in the profile area, we can do this exact same thing in profile. So I'll go ahead and do a profile. Let's grab the multi-chain text. Grab that same tool. And then upper level here and do our 5 thou. Technology, switch it from left to center. And you're set to go. So you're going to get the exact same results as what you got before. Now, another way of going about it is if you did not want to put that sketch on there, or put any kind of sketch on there inside SolidWorks, you can actually do this right inside the SolidCAM software for the geometry option. And this is going to be, I really find it much easier to do it in SolidWorks here, but you guys have the option. Oh, I just noticed my contour line or my profile line. When you do profile, make sure you come over to your links and turn your links off. I'm seeing these lines come way out, and it's because it's the arc in, arc off. Like I said, I find it much easier to do inside SolidWorks than this way, but for our InventorCAM viewers that are watching, doing a text in Inventor isn't quite as easy as what it is inside of SolidWorks. So what we'll do here is go back to our 3D tab. We'll do an engraving. We'll hit our new geometry. And this one's going to be a little bit different now. We come down here and we expand out our text, and we can click add. And now it's asking me, where do I want that reference point? So I can put the reference point somewhere down there. Now, to add the text in there, you can just click edit, and it's going to bring up almost like a notepad document. So what we want to do in here is turn on our text, and we want to make a box big enough to fit our text that's going in there. Now we can just type in there our SolidCAM. And we can also come in here and switch it over to that DPS shrift as well. Okay. And we can make it much bigger. Hit OK. Let's go even bigger yet. Okay. So now we're good. We can, and I'm happy with that, the way that text looks. I can hit the green check mark. Now, if I come over here and hit the preview, it will show where that is going. Now, the reference point is basically, go back to edit, is that box that I drew. It's going to be the bottom corner of that, or bottom corner of where the text starts. So that's going to be your reference point there. And like I said, you can definitely come in here and pick where you want it to go. So if, maybe that's not the right place, I can come in here and do pick point and put it in a different location as well. So, as well as doing the direction. So, maybe I want this up at a 45 degrees, hit preview, and it's going to kick it off at 45 degrees, or we can do it based off a line like we did in SolidWorks. So for right now, we'll just put that back at 0. That's exactly where I want it. So once I'm happy with that, I can hit the green check mark. Has all our chains set up for us. Go ahead and grab our tool. And we'll tell it that we're going to do that 5 thou. Technology, switch this over to center. Now, this is something I find myself doing a lot. When I'm doing engraving, I always come over here, switch it over to center. And to fix that, so I don't have to do that every time, and let's say every time I'm coming in here with that engraving tool. So what I can do, and this is a little bit off subject here, but still kind of relating to the engraving part, is this is how I'm going to do all my part numbers, all my engraving. I always want it to be, 5 thou deep, using my engraving tool set to center. So I'm going to hit save, and I'm just going to put engraving part numbers. So now by creating a template out of that, it's in there forever. So now I'll just do a quick save and calculate here. And if I'm going forward, maybe on this particular job, I always want to use that template. So I can go right to my template and just got to find it here. 3D engraving. And you can see my template's already pulled up there. So engraving part number, hit OK. So now when I come in here and do a new engraving op, you can see it already has my tool, already has my levels predefined, and it has everything set to center. Now, if you want to do this going forward with all of your SolidCAM projects, I can hop out of here and we'll just close out of this part real quick. And I'll open up my SolidCAM settings. And I can come down to my templates, 3D milling, engraving, and you can see engraving part number. So now by doing that, every single new project that I do or that I create going forward will automatically have that template pulled up. And it'll be set to all the specs that I told it. So definitely kind of keep that in mind when you guys are going about, you know, not just engraving, but anything that's in there. And if I'm coming in here just to do a quick part number with our templates, I can come over here and find my engraving part number, and I can click and drag it right over to our feature tree over here too. So a lot of different cool options there for you guys. Now I was going to mention something else in here with the profile. So along the profile lines, if you want to do it that route, you will get more tool options in there. So if we go to tool, select, and we go to add a new tool, you'll see that I have a couple more options in there. Now I don't know how many times you'd use a slot mill to do a engraving operation, but you do see that we do have a couple more tools that are in there as well. I think center drill is in there also, but
yeah, I think the answer to the slot mill question is once.
Oh, do we have a question?
No, well, yeah, we do have a question, but if you use that slot mill once, I don't think you're going to use it again for engraving.
Yeah, or a thread mill tool. But so if you guys did go that route, you do have a couple more tool options there.
Yeah, we do have a question in here that says, on the geometry with more than one area, the engraving contour toolpath orders by depth, it seems, and jumps back and forth.
Oh, no. Okay.
Areas.
So how that works, I'm going to actually open it up here. And if I go to geometry and we'll do an edit. So it goes almost like in random order of the text. And I can't expand it. Oh, there it goes. So we can see our different chain numbers in here. And as we're kind of going through that, what we can do is you can reorder these. And I don't do, let me just do a new geometry.
Yeah, the question seems like it's more related to multiple depths, which we may need some more clarification, Clinton.
So Clinton, are you kind of saying like maybe the S is going to be a little bit deeper than the O is going to be a little bit deeper than the L? Multiple depths. Okay, so how we want to go about that is, exit, yes, I'm going to open up our profile operation. Oh, wait a minute. So 2 passes in Z. So like kind of like a roughing and a finishing pass. Correct. Okay. Hopefully I'm seeing the correct when I'm saying it. Okay. So in the profile operation, you guys will have that option in the rough tab right here. So right now we could set it up as, let's say we want to do leave 10 thou. Well, I can't leave 10 thou because I'm only going down 5. I can leave 2 thou. So it's going to do everything up till 2 thou and then come back and do a finish pass that way. So if I save and calculate, something like this, we should actually watch it play through 2 times. So here's the rough pass. I missed it.
Would you also advise sorting by chains?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not seeing the, okay, I'm gonna single step it here. So we got the S and the S. So right now, let me put my mouse, here's the rough. It's going too fast. We'll do it on the C so we can catch it. Okay, so here's the rough pass. And lift up and then come back and do the finished pass. So I think that's what you're looking for, Clinton. Now, to do this right inside of the engraving operation, you can do this as a semi-finish, and we can tell it, you know, how much we want to take per step down, or we can do the exact same thing as we did in the profile operation of, let's do all but 2 thou, and we want to do a finish on the floor. So now if I save and calculate, now it will do the exact same thing. So here's our rough pass, our finish pass. You can see it's kind of doing it twice there.
I think he was just looking for the option in the profile where you can sort it by chains, though.
Oh, okay.
He wants to do the S at one time.
Oh, gotcha.
Finish the S.
Okay.
Do the O at one time. Finish the O.
We do
so
not.
So the profile pass would definitely be the way to go there.
Yeah, we don't have that option. Well, let's try this. Get this so you can see it a little better. And for those of you guys that don't know, I'm just hovering my mouse over the single step and I'm hitting my space bar. No. So looks like for what you're looking for there, Clinton, you would not be able to do that. One other thing though that I thought Clinton was looking for is multiple different depths. So let's say in this particular case, maybe we wanted our M to be a little bit deeper than our A, different than our C. You would have to do this in a profile operation, and then the only thing that you would have to do is instead of doing a constant Z level, you would have to do a variable Z level, and then you could come in there and do the chains. But one thing that you would have to do is you would have to grab this not as a text, you would have to grab this as a chain geometry. So this would be, you know, one chain, this would be a second chain, and it's not going to pull it up through the text option right there. So you'd have to do single line geometry there. So great question. So Greg, am I missing anything on the flat part?
On the flat parts, I'd like to see in the pocketed geometry, so the SolidCAM on the top, just show the different fill options and the tool path that's associated with it. I know you did the single line, but there's a hatch option as well.
Yeah, okay.
And just show the difference between the contour and the hatch. Great
call. So right now we have the middle line, you guys seen that one, and then you also see in the contour as well. Now, if we switch over to hatch, I get a couple different options in there. And now, this is actually going to leave you a really cool finish in there. We're doing straight lines in there, and maybe I want to switch it over to maybe like a 45 degrees. And you can see the 45 degrees coming in there, going back and through that actual bold font right here. So the L is a great example, just kind of going back and forth in there as well. So you guys do have that option, as well as doing your step over. So, you know, if you're looking for something, a smaller step over or a larger step over. Now, the cool thing you can do with this is if we switch this over, I totally forgot about this, but if we switch over to a spot drill and we do like a 1 thou, save and calculate. This actually gets to be, if you're looking for something a little bit different, get in here, you can kind of see the different, you'll get a different surface finish in there as it's going around. So, you know, if we zoom into this L, we're not going very deep, but you'll get that little hatch pattern going in there. So, and if you guys wanted to do even more extreme, what we could do is, so we did a hatch at 45 degrees, save and copy, and then switch this over to this would give you kind of like that diamond shape. Speed this up here. So we kind of get zoomed in on here. It'll kind of give you that diamond texture in there for doing, I don't know, the
like a faux knurl.
Yeah, there you go. So you guys do have that option there as well. So there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Okay, so the only other thing I want to mention is fourth axis. So does anyone have any questions on the flat surface engraving? Okay, I don't see any questions coming in, so I'm going to switch over to a fourth axis here. Okay, so there's a couple ways of going about it, doing it this way as well. So this one, I just have some bold font in there. Now what we can do is do our engraving here. And this would be run on a fourth axis machine. Now for my geometry, what I can do is come in here and I can tell it that I want to do a wrap around my x-axis here. And I can come and grab my sketch. Go ahead and accept that. And we'll go ahead and grab our tool here. And upper level here, and we just want to go in 5 thou again. Technology, switch it over to center. I did something wrong here. Okay, I'm gonna do my wrap. And now if I come, can I grab that surface, do a multi-chain, and we're gonna go edges. There we go. Grab that one, and the middle of the A. There we go. And I'm just going to double check my levels again here. So this is going to be 5 thou. And now, if we go ahead and simulate this, now you can kind of see how it's the indexer is kind of going back and forth right there. So now if we go, let's just, I'll kind of show you what I mean here. If I pull it in Machine Sim, you'll kind of see it moving around. All right. So get this at a decent position for you guys. Play this through and speed it up here. So you can see the indexer table is kind of bouncing around a little bit at the start and as well as at the end here. So what we can do is come in here and I have to remember how I did that. Do edit.
Yeah, you picked up the geometry on both edges.
Oh, that's what it is. So we'll delete that chain. So what Craig is saying is this chain right here and the chain on the opposite end. So I'll delete that one as well as the chain 14. Delete that. Yes. Green check mark. Now if we go to simulate this. get this rotated around here. And slow it down still here. Now, this does not require 5-axis. This does not require 4th axis simultaneous. If you guys are running in the 2D Pro package, so you got 4-axis abilities in there, you can do this exact same thing. Now, another way of going about grabbing that geometry is, let's say, like I said before, the engineer didn't put that that sketch on there. So what you can do is we can come in here, and I'm gonna go to my planes here so I can figure out which one I need. That will work. Do a sketch. Do our text. Do our SolidCAM. Switch over to our font here. And we can space it out just a little bit. So now I can come in here and we'll do another engraving. Now for this geometry, I'm not going to tell it that it's wrapped. I'm just going to go like I did before, go to my multi-chain, do my text, grab my text that I need, and we'll go ahead and grab the tool. Levels, upper level, and then we'll do .R5 here, and we'll switch it over to center. Now we'll come over to the motion control, and we'll turn on that we want to work on the diameter. And the diameter, it's in there already, so 6 inches. And now, save and calculate, we will get this on the diameter as well. So you can see our other engraving still there. Play this through here. And this engraving is quite a bit smaller, and that's why we're having a hard time seeing it, but it definitely is there for you guys. So 2 different ways of kind of going about the 4th axis that way. So the first way is if it was already drawn in there for you guys. Second way is if you just want to do quick on the fly sketching on there and do it that way as well. So any questions from anyone? Don't see anything coming through. Greg, you got anything before we wrap it up here?
No, I think it covered everything I was thinking of.
Perfect. So like I said, definitely next week we'll be covering the SolidCAM 3D engraving, going through a bunch of different parts, showing you guys that. But that is all I have to show for everyone for tonight. And if you guys do have questions, definitely send those over via email or give us a call on the support line. Definitely help you out with those. But for the time being, we'll see you guys next Tuesday night and go over that 3D engraving. All right, see you, everyone.
Good evening.